I know you've heard it 1,000 times. I thought my life was perfect till that one day. That was me, Ryan Moss. I was married to a beautiful woman with a beautiful 6-year-old daughter. I met my lovely wife, Tiffany, Tiff as we called her, during my senior year of college. She was a junior, and we quickly fell in love. We married a month after her graduation. I graduated with an engineering degree and got a good job working for a national engineering firm. When Tiff got out of school, she went to work for a law firm as a legal assistant. Tiff quit her job 2 years later when she gave birth to our daughter, Jenny. Our life was perfect till Jenny went to kindergarten. With Jenny in school, Tiff went back to work at the law firm. I should have seen it coming, but was blinded by my belief that my wife. I thought she was in love with me as much as I was in love with her. Looking back, all the signs were staring me in the face. Tiff started dressing more provocatively. Our love life went from frequent to non-existent. Tiffany was working more hours and was dismissive when I questioned her about her long hours. When I confronted her about the lack of quality time with both me and our daughter, she told me that she was working for a senior partner. It was a great opportunity for her career and would help us financially for our future, is what she would say. Several months before the day, I met her boss, Stan Cross, at the firm Christmas party. To me, he was a jerk. He was cocky and dismissive towards me. I watched them closely, but I didn't see any romantic interaction between Tiff and her boss. It was there. They just hid it from me. Things took a turn just as Jenny was finishing up her kindergarten year. After her last day of school, Jenny was going to spend the weekend with my parents. I was looking forward to a nice weekend with Tiffany to try to rekindle our relationship and love life. I dropped off Jenny at my parents' to return home for what I planned was to be a nice dinner and movie at home alone with Tiffany. As I walked into the kitchen, Tiffany was coming down the stairs. She was dressed in a short dress with high heels. Her hair was down around her shoulders, curled to perfection. She had her makeup on for a night on the town. "Wow, babe, you look hot. I wish you would have told me we were going out. I would have rushed home. Give me a few minutes and I will be dressed. Where are we going?" Tiffany got a smirk on her face that was not a good look for her. "We are not going anywhere. I'm going out, but not with you." I was shocked. What are you saying?" "I have a date, and it is just the start. We are going to have new rules starting today. My boss is coming to pick me up for a night in the town. I won't be home. We have a room downtown." "What the hell are you saying?" I called out. "You need to calm down and accept this. This is the way it is going to be. I'm going out and will be home sometime Sunday." "No way. If you think I'm going to accept this, you're crazy. If you walk out that door, don't expect to come back." "No, Ryan. I will be coming home to our home. We are going to remain man and wife, and I will still live here as will you. You need to understand that I still love you, but I need a little more. If you insist on making this difficult, it will be you who will not live here anymore. It would be a shame for Jenny's father to be penniless and in jail." I was stunned by her comments. Just as I was getting up to confront her, the doorbell rang. Tiffany ran to the door, letting her boss in. "How did he take it?" he asked Tiffany. "Not well. I think you need to explain the consequences of non-compliance," she said. Stan was not an imposing man, about my size, if not a little shorter. "Mr. Moss, I guess we need to have a conversation." "Conversation? I need to kick your back," I replied. "You could try, and from the looks of you, I might get a couple of good hits in before my driver would storm in here and knock you out. By evening, you would be in jail, so sit down." I looked out the door to see a large man standing on my doorstep behind Stan. Muttering, I sat down. "Good. We can talk like civilized men now. When your wife agreed to become my personal assistant, she took on other duties. Yes, I'm talking about intimacy. I've been enjoying your wife for the last 6 months, but she grew tired of us sneaking around. The two of you will have a new relationship. As my personal assistant, she will provide me with professional and personal services as I need them. Mr. Moss, you will continue to be Tiffany's husband. Your role as husband and father will not change with one exception. I will take care of Tiffany's sexual needs. Most of the time, those needs will be taken care of at a hotel or at the office, but there will be some times where you are out of the house that we will need to use your bed. You've crossed a line, and I will not tolerate this. I will divorce her for cheating, I replied. Mr. Moss, that kind of talk is not productive. Don't forget what business I'm in. I'm a big-time lawyer with the power of this city's largest law firm. If you try to divorce her, you will be punished. I don't just mean in the divorce. Of course, in the divorce, we will take everything from you and force you to pay her alimony while she keeps messing with me. That wonderful little daughter you cherish so much, you won't be seeing her. You see, you will be charged with child molestation. You will go to jail for some period of time, and you will never get visitation with your child again. I'm sure your company will fire you on the spot. You will be disowned by your family and friends. I sat there stunned, not knowing what to say. Stan continued. Now, I know you are not going to do anything stupid. You try to tell my wife, all the hell I just explained to you will come down on your head, plus a visit from my driver and his friends. If you try to just leave town, we will hunt you down. So be a good boy and just accept this new relationship. Your wife is a wonderful assistant. Still stunned, I watched as my wife walked out the door with her boss, her boyfriend. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do, so I got drunk. I woke up Saturday morning alone and hungover. Tiffany didn't come home Saturday and did not home Sunday morning. She was not home Sunday when I went to pick up Jenny. It was all I could do not to cry as I picked her up and drove home. Jenny nearly broke my heart when she asked where Mommy was when we got home. I wanted to tell her, Mommy has turned into a cheating woman who is messing with her boss. I reframed and told her that she had to work. The disappointment on her face cut me deeply. When Tiffany arrived home Sunday night, she found me asleep in the guest room. Lucky for me, she didn't come in. I didn't know if I could have remained calm. I was up getting Jenny ready for school when Tiffany appeared. Not much was said to me, but Tiffany concentrated on Jenny as we were heading out the door to school. Tiffany kissed Jenny and moved to kiss me, but I turned and walked away. That night, after Tiffany put Jenny to bed, Tiffany stomped into what I had turned into my man cave in the basement. "Are we going to have a problem?" she hissed. "When you say we, do you mean me having a problem with you spending the weekend with your boss? Is that the problem you are talking about?" She stood there with her hands on her hips. "Look, I didn't mean for this to happen. It seemed to start with Stan and I sharing our morning coffee. He liked that special creamer I bring to work." "I'm sure he wanted to give you some of his special creamers," I replied. "Don't be crude, Ryan. He's a very persuasive man. You know how I've always said I didn't like sushi? The truth is I had never tried it. Stan said it is an incredible aphrodisiac. The first time he got me to try it was the first time he had intimacy with me. I'm sorry, Ryan, but it was good. He promised to make me his personal assistant. Think of the benefits. I'm making a lot more money. I will get to travel with Stan and meet a lot of important people. This will be good for us. Stan even said you could have intimacy with me again. There will be some conditions, though." "Oh God, I can't wait to hear this," I said, getting angrier. "You can only be with me after Stan has been with me, and he says that will happen often," Tiffany says almost apologetically. "Wow, Stan is going to allow me sloppy seconds with his cheating woman. How generous," I replied. "You can't talk to me like that. Ryan, you need to just get on board. This is not a long-term situation. Maybe 2 to 3 years at most. We will be in a great position for our life going forward together." "You actually believe this nonsense, don't you? I guess in your world, once the great Stan is done with you, I will be there to grow old with you, right? Just wait till good old Stan tells you he wants to put a baby in you and have me raise it." Tiffany lowered her head in shame. "Oh, heck. Are you already pregnant?" "No, but he wants me to go off the pill in a few months. I told him I wanted you to be on board with the new relationship before we do that." "I can't believe you. Get out of my sight," I replied. Tiffany got to the top of the stairs and turned. "I'll be in our bed waiting. Once I go off the pill, I won't be available to you till I'm, you know." This had gone too far. She had to know I would never go along with her plan. I took up residence in the guest room in my basement area, but tried to keep our household as normal as possible for Jenny's sake. Over the next week, I did some research on Stan. It certainly appeared that he had the power and influence he claimed. I went to a divorce lawyer. She confirmed that I would be destroyed in a divorce. The lawyer knew Stan Cross, and she believed that he was not above fabricating molestation claims against me. Divorce was not an option. The lawyer did suggest that I try to get evidence of my wife's plan. If I could get some evidence of them plotting against me, I might be able to stop their plan. She said even with evidence it would be hard to stop them with Cross's power and influence. She suggested using a small, voice-activated recorder. If I hid it in Tiffany's purse, I might get lucky. I bought a recorder as the lawyer suggested and put it in Tiffany's purse. It looked like a pen, and I was able to put it in a small pocket that had other pens. The recorder seemed to be a long shot, so I started looking for other options. I was out of options, at least legal options. I decided to go to the library to use their computers. I'd seen enough detective TV shows that the police always check the prime suspect's internet search history. Finally, after a couple of hours of searching, I came up with an idea. It was extreme, and I wasn't sure it would work, but I was desperate to try. 3 hours away, I found an Oriental supply store that was on the seedy side. I put on an old hat and sunglasses while wearing sweats, making sure I would not be recognizable. Luckily, when I got there, I was alone in the store with just the old man behind the counter. I walked up to the old man. "I would like some tetrodotoxin and some dimethylmercury." The old man looked at me and smiled. "Got a cheating wife?" I just smiled back at him. "Do you have it?" "I do, but it is not cheap. $1,500 and I only take cash. I assumed that you want no record of you being here." I assumed it wasn't going to be cheap bringing $2,000 with me. I counted out $1,500 in 20s, putting it on the counter. The old man went in a back door and quickly returned. He put 2 vials in a paper bag. "Be careful with these. Small amounts over time will do the trick." The old man pulled 2 syringes into the bag. "These will help you dispense it. Don't get any on your skin. It is best to put it in a liquid for her or them to ingest." I grabbed the bag and quickly went to my car. Tetrodotoxin and dimethylmercury are both toxic substances related to fish in some way. Tetrodotoxin is taken from the pufferfish and the blue-ringed octopus. When prepared correctly, these creatures are considered a delicacy, but in a concentrated form, they build up in the subject and can be deadly. Dimethylmercury is similar to mercury, but more deadly. If allowed to build up, it also can be deadly. My research found that both dimethylmercury and tetrodotoxin would build up in the system over time till it was too late. Both substances were hard to detect, but if found would look like they were from bad sushi. The best part of my plan was that Tiffany was going to deliver the poison for me. She kept that special creamer at home till she needed to replace the bottle at work. When I asked her several months ago why she didn't just take it all to work, she said she was afraid someone would take it. The creamer was a special treat just for her. I guess she meant it was special for just her and Stan. It was non-dairy and didn't need to be refrigerated. Tiffany's case of the creamer was in the pantry. The case was open with 11 bottles in the box. I carefully pulled one of the bottles for examination. The cap was not tamper-proof, but did have a paper and foil seal under the cap covering the bottle. I started with the tetrodotoxin as a test on the first bottle. I didn't want to take the chance of spilling the dimethylmercury on my skin. Just like the old man said, I found research that direct contact could be fatal. Loading up the syringe with tetrodotoxin, I pushed the tiny needle into the side of the seal. Once inside, I slowly pushed the liquid into the bottle. Examining the bottle after I pulled the needle out didn't show any signs of tampering. I repeated the process with all 11 bottles in the box. Nervously, I pulled out the dimethylmercury. Much more carefully, I injected each bottle. 2 weeks later, the case of creamer went down to 10 bottles. My conscience started working overtime. I was starting to regret my extreme action. Tiffany made my decision a lot easier. It was a Thursday night which had become sushi night. On Thursdays, Tiffany and Stan would work late and get sushi. Sushi night was code for getting sushi and intimacy. Jenny and I had dinner alone before I put her to bed. I was in my man cave like most nights when Tiffany marched down the stairs with attitude. "If you want to have any intimacy for a while, you've got a month. Stan has told me I'm going off the pill in a month. After that, you are cut off." My anger was boiling. Look at this. My wife is allowing me to have love with her before she makes a bastard with her boss. I thought I wasn't allowed to have love with you unless your body was full of Stan. Tiffany smirked. That's right. If you want to see evidence of Stan still being inside me, you need to stop using that term. You know I hate it. No thanks, I'll pass. I wouldn't touch your nasty body, I replied. Suit yourself, but I'll be upstairs in our bed. It's been a while since we've made love, she said smugly, walking back up the stairs. You wouldn't know what love is anymore, I replied. I know some would say that I'm going overboard and should just divorce her. Given my options, I looked at what I was doing as self-defense. She and her boyfriend threatened me with my most precious thing, my daughter, and secondly, my freedom. I knew what I was doing was reprehensible, but it was in response to the unspeakable threats they made against me. A week later, I noticed that the box was down to 9 bottles of creamer. It took another month for the first symptoms to show. I had been watching her like a hawk when she was home. Her complexion looked a little paler, but it was her hands that made me smile. Tiffany, all through dinner, was flexing her fingers and wringing her hands. Her nervous system was being affected by the toxins in the creamer, causing it to shut down. Something wrong, Tiff? I tried to show actual concern. I don't know. My fingers have this numb feeling. You know, like you get when you are laying on your hand and it falls asleep. It's been doing it for a week or so. I've also been a little out of breath. Probably nothing sounds like stress. Anything new at work causing you stress or making you uncomfortable? I asked. There was a little sneer on Tiffany's face. No, there is nothing. Everything at work is just great. I'm sure it is nothing. 2 weeks later, the box was down to 8 bottles of creamer. Damn, they must be drinking a lot of coffee, I thought. Tiffany's symptoms were becoming more and more evident. Body aches, shortness of breath, and loss of color in her skin. It was a Thursday night and Tiffany was home right after work. I was surprised when she walked in the door. What are you doing here, Tiff? Isn't this sushi night? I said, dripping with sarcasm. I'm not feeling so hot, and neither is Stan. He decided we aren't working late tonight. Well, that's bad timing, isn't it? Tiffany looked at me confused. You know that big project you and Stan were going to start. Hard to deliver that package if you both are sick. Tiffany walked over close so she could whisper without Jenny hearing. Don't be a jerk in front of our daughter. I'm going to go lie down. After dinner, I took Jenny up to her room to get her ready for bed. When I walked by our bedroom, I heard the sounds of Tiffany throwing up. I slowly opened the bathroom door. Don't tell me you're already pregnant. Forget you, she growled. There's no way I'm pregnant yet. I just went off the pill last week. You could at least show some compassion. I'm really sick here. Compassion? That's rich coming from you, I replied. I'm your wife, Ryan, and you need to show your wife respect and compassion. I cut her off. No. My wife died when she went to work for that jerk. She was replaced by some cheating woman who I have no respect for. If you think you will get any compassion, respect, or even kindness, you are mistaken. I turned and walked out of the bathroom, leaving in front of the toilet heaving. Tiffany was not up when I took Jenny to her daycare on Friday. I should have checked on her but didn't care. About noon, my cell phone lit up from Tiffany. What do you want? I answered. I need you to take me to the hospital. What's wrong with you? I asked. I'm sick, but it's not me. It's Stan. He's had a stroke. I couldn't help but laugh. Are you really asking me to take you to see your lover in the hospital? Please, Ryan, this isn't funny. They said he could die. I decided it might raise suspicions if I didn't take Tiffany to the hospital, so I took the afternoon off. Tiffany looked like shit when I got home. I helped her to the car and drove to the hospital. At the hospital, we found her boss's wife and one of the other senior partners. Larry Masters, the senior partner, quickly pulled Tiffany aside. He obviously knew they were having an affair. "Tiff, do you really think you should be here? His wife is over there." Not caring that I was standing next to her, Tiffany started talking to Masters. "Mr. Masters, I need to know how he is. I need to see him." Masters pulled her off to the side with me in tow. "You look like crap, Tiff. It doesn't look good. His left side is paralyzed, and the doctor said his organs are shutting down. They don't know what is happening, but if they can't stop what is happening, he won't make it through the weekend." Tiffany was crying. "Please, Mr. Masters, I have to see him. Can you distract his wife while I go in? I will be quick." Masters huddled up with Stan's wife and his family. I escorted my wife to see her lover. Stan was in bad shape. The left side of his face was drooping. He was awake but couldn't speak. Tiffany ran to his side while I stayed at the door. I wanted to throw up when she hugged and kissed him, knowing I was in the same room. Tiffany began to bawl harder before a nurse came in to tell her to leave. The nurse helped my wife from the room, leaving just me and Stan in the room alone. Stan's eyes got big when he recognized me. He tried to talk, but nothing came out. "Stan, you're going to die soon. Before you do, I want you to know that I didn't take your advice. I wasn't a good boy and I didn't accept your idea of a new relationship. Don't worry, I'm going to tell your wife after you are dead about all the stuff you pulled with me and my wife. Before you die, just know that I did this to you. There is nothing that you can do to stop it." Alarms started going off on the machinery hooked up to Stan. Nurses and doctors came rushing into the room as I stepped out. They kept Stan alive through the weekend, but he passed early Monday. Tiffany was a blubbering mess when she heard the news of her boss passing. Her health was getting worse. I picked up Jenny from daycare and headed home that Monday to find Tiffany in bed. She confirmed that her lover was gone. Even in her weakened state, her venom was still present. "I guess you're going to gloat now." "No, Tiff, I'm not going to gloat. I'm not going to pretend I'm upset that he is dead. That guy killed our marriage and he deserves to be dead." "Our marriage isn't dead, and I can't believe you are so cruel about Stan. Nothing I had with him diminished my love for you. I told you it was a means to get ahead, to make us financially set. You knew I would come back to you." "No, Tiff, you're talking complete nonsense. Our marriage is just as dead as your lover Stan. Did you forget that I was in the room when you ran to Stan professing your love for him? Hugging and kissing with your husband in the room." Tiffany was sobbing hard when I turned to leave the bedroom. She took a turn for the worse by the end of the week. It got so bad I had to take her to the hospital on Friday. On Saturday morning, her doctor met with me. "Mr. Moss, your wife's organs are shutting down. Her blood is showing an abnormally high level of mercury and another toxin found in fish. Does she eat a lot of seafood? Maybe sushi?" I tried hard to suppress a chuckle. "Yes, she and her boyfriend have been sharing a lot of sushi in the last few months." "Boyfriend?" the doctor asked quizzically. "I'm sure you know of him. Stan Cross, the man who died here in your hospital just this past Monday. He and my wife had an ongoing affair." That explains a lot. Even though he had a stroke, her symptoms are very similar to that of Mr. Cross. I'm afraid that she doesn't have much time left. Her kidneys shut down early this morning. It is just a matter of time now. The doctor led me to her room. Tiffany was hooked up to several machines, looking very weak. Her eyes lit up when I walked into the room. She weakly waved me over. Her breathing was labored and having a hard time speaking. Tiffany motioned me to come in close. "I'm so sorry, Ryan. I now realize how badly I hurt you. The doctor told me I don't have long. I need to hear that you forgive me before I go." I leaned close to her ear. She had a smile on her face as I started to speak. My dear wife, I pledged my undying love to you when we took our vows. For better or worse, in sickness and health is what I said. At the same time, you pledged to me your love and faithfulness. You broke those vows, belittling me and humiliating me. I will never forgive you for what you did to me and our family. I hope that you and your lover burn in hell. I got up, watching a tear run down her cheek. I walked out the door just as the alarms were going off in Tiffany's room. Less than an hour later, she was declared dead. It was hard telling Jenny her mother wasn't coming home. I cried for her, not Tiffany. Tiffany tried to end my life, as I knew, but I got her first. Apparently, the doctors were convinced that both Stan and Tiffany were the victims of bad sushi. Turning Tiffany's body over to the funeral home told me that there would be no autopsy and no further investigation. No police ever came to question me. I did destroy the extra bottles of creamer and my vials of the toxin at the house. I even retrieved the 1/4 full bottle of creamer at Tiffany's office when I cleared out her belongings. When I had Tiffany's body cremated, her parents objected. Their religious beliefs discouraged cremation. I didn't care. I wanted the cheating woman's body destroyed. With her burned up, any lingering evidence would be burned with her. I should have been satisfied with my deadly revenge on Tiff and Stan, but I wasn't done. I gathered up my various recordings and made copies. My first visit was to Georgia Moss, Stan's now widow. The question was, why confront Stan's wife now that he was dead? I wanted to know if she knew and allowed it to happen. My thought was that she did. As open as Stan was, there didn't seem to be any way she didn't. I turned on my pocket recorder when she invited me into her home. "Mrs. Cross, I came here to talk to you about your husband and my wife." She cut me off. "You can stop there, Mr. Moss. I knew about my husband and your wife. They were very obvious about it. It wasn't his first, but she was his last. I'm sorry about your wife, but as you can see, I lost my husband too." "Thank you, Mrs. Cross. I want to be clear here. You knew that your husband seduced my wife and turned her against me and my daughter. By you doing nothing, you are just as guilty as he was." "Wait a minute, Mr. Moss. I didn't have any part in my husband's actions," she replied. "I guess we will have to disagree about that, Mrs. Cross. The way I see it, if you had done something about your husband, he may not have felt free to seduce my wife. My child might have a mother right now. The fact that you knew will make me feel better when I go after his estate for the pain and suffering he caused my family." I got up and walked out of her house with no further discussion. My lawyer told me it was unlikely that we would be successful in going after Stan's estate, but I didn't care. I wanted retribution. In addition to the Cross estate, I was going after the firm Stan and Tiffany worked for. With Stan dead, my lawyer thought they wouldn't care about his activities and fight us till the end. That was till I produced a recording of Stan talking to his partner Larry Masters. After my poison plan was underway, I had a hard time being civil to Tiffany. After one of my rants, the recorder picked a useful conversation. The recording was of Stan and Larry Masters talking in Tiffany's office. The three were talking about my resistance to their little plan. Larry was heard on the recording offering his help in enforcing the plan. He tells the other two that he knows cops, prosecutors, and judges who owe him favors. With their help, they would destroy me if I didn't get into their program. My lawyer told me that the recording may not be admissible in court, but that didn't stop us from using it. My lawyer scheduled a meeting with all of the senior partners, including Larry Masters. She did not tell them the reason, just hinted that it might be about life insurance. I wanted them to be blindsided. As we were ushered into their conference room, each of the 7 senior partners gave me their condolences on my wife's passing, including Masters. They all believed we wanted to talk to them about Tiffany's life insurance policy that was being held up by the insurance company. John Hager, the managing partner, stood up. "Mr. Moss, each one of us is very sorry for your loss. We have been made aware of the difficulties you are having getting the insurance company to pay off the life insurance policy our firm provided for your wife. I'm pleased to tell you we were successful in stepping in to clear the obstacles." Hager slid a check for $500,000 from the insurance company. I put the check in my pocket. Thank you, Mr. Hager. That is not why we are here. We are here to give your firm the opportunity to settle a sticky issue before we go public and file suit against each one of you individually and your law firm. You see, Mr. Hager, your firm was complicit with Mr. Cross in a plot to seduce my wife away from her family and to have me arrested, prosecuted, and jailed. Hager stood up angrily. How dare you come in here, accuse our firm of such crimes, and besmirch the good name of one of our fallen partners? Mr. Moss, we will not sit here and allow you to false allegations. Mr. Hager, we can leave now, but I can assure you that my allegations, as you call them, are true, and I have evidence to back them up. I would suggest that you simply ask Mr. Masters if I'm telling the truth. All eyes turned to Masters, who was squirming in his chair. They appeared to be waiting for Masters to shoot down my claims, but he stayed quiet. My lawyer hit play on his phone, triggering a small portion of the recording of Masters and Cross, discussing how they were going to destroy me. Hager stood up, looking at his partners quickly, then back to me and my lawyer. Mr. Moss, if you will indulge us, I need to talk privately with my partners. 30 minutes later, Hager alone stepped into the room. What are your demands, Mr. Moss? Your firm is going to pay me and my daughter $5 million, or we are going to sue you, and the recording I played for you and many others will go public. It is as simple as that. My lawyer tells me that Masters will certainly be disbarred, and maybe the rest of you. The fact that they identified specific prosecutors and judges might be a little harmful to your business if you and your partners keep their licenses. Hager requested 2 days to confer with his partners about my offer. My lawyer spoke up. You have 2 days to agree, or it all comes out. 2 days later, my lawyer called me. They've agreed to the $5 million. I have a proposed agreement I'll send you. As part of the agreement, we agreed not to go after Mr. Cross's estate. In exchange, they will expel Mr. Masters from the firm, citing a moral clause denying him 90% of his partnership share. I agreed and took their money. I signed an agreement that I would not disclose what Mr. Cross and his firm did to me and my family. One thing Tiffany had right. Her affair made our family financially set. Now I had to start looking for a replacement for my wife and mother to my child. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.